Um, so my name is Morgan and I'm the pitch program head. And we also have, so we have Mary here and Tom is our, the founder. And then we also have Alex. He is our director of fostering. Is that right? No.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Director of fostering. Yeah. So those are the folks that are on the executive team here. And what HFC is a local, this is where I have to refer to my notes, a local member-based, volunteer-run nonprofit dedicated to supporting the art of filmmaking throughout the state of Hawaii. Our vision is to foster and showcase independent voices and talent in the filmmaking community of Hawaii and throughout the Pacific region. So it's really just an all-volunteer organization, a collective that comes together to support one another in achieving the vision of independent filmmaking here in Hawaii. And there's a whole bunch of different types of people that are here. We've got producers and directors and writers and all sorts of events that are designed to, you know, create connection in the community and support independent filmmakers here. So Tom, Mary, did I miss anything? Did I do okay?
That was amazing. Good job, Morgan.
Okay, so we're really happy to have new folks here. And what I want to do today is talk to you about the pitch program, which is the one that I'm heading up. Are there any questions before I get started? I'm going to show a PowerPoint to you.
Okay. While Morgan's queuing that up, if you're not a member, that's great. Welcome. We're super stoked to have you. Tom and I were just on the phone trying to sort out what it would look like to be in person soon. But you do have to be a member to pitch. So we're super grateful you're here. This is one of our like cornerstone events that we recently kind of revamped to keep you in mind more, but you do have to sign up, which is super easy on the website. You can do it all by yourself through PayPal. So if you're ready to take the dive before the pitch meeting, go ahead and do that.
So welcome to Pitch, where I'm going to try to give you all the information that you need to either successfully pitch your idea or come in and vote and be a member of the community, maybe volunteer for one of the winning pitches. Let's see. So here's my name and information. So if you want to take a moment, I can also put my email address in the chat box, but it's just morgan@hawaiifilmmakers.org. And so I came from, I haven't been in film for very long. I'm a creative, but I spent the first half of my career in the sciences. So I did marine biology for 20 years. And my poor little creative soul was just really starving for more creative endeavors. So a lot of what I did in science was very similar to what a film producer does. So at the moment, I'm bringing some of those skills forth, but trying to use them in the for creative purposes. And so I came into HFC, the perfect opportunity arose. I shadowed Mary in the production of the first like full HFC production as a producer. And then I went through the producer's lab and then came on to join them as on the executive team to lead this program. And this is what I used to look like, but this is what I look like now. So now I'm all happy. So you're welcome to jump in and ask questions about things, but if for some reason I don't want any of your questions or thoughts to get lost. So feel free to use the chat box. We can go back at the end. If you have something that you're like, wow, I really love that idea, or you're not sure about this, you don't understand it, or you don't think you just have questions about it. If for some reason you don't get a chance to ask them verbally, pop them into the chat box and then we'll return to it at the end and have a chance, more of a chance to, I'm going to move this window. Okay. All right, so the vision for the pitch program is a program which supports independent filmmakers to complete their pitch-winning films at the highest possible quality and builds community and relationships. So the vision was this program was one of the cornerstone programs of HFC and was created by the founders Kainoa and Tom and maybe some other people too, but then was recently revised by all of us after we went through the production of Shelter. So we all did a production together and we learned a bunch of lessons from it. And so over the past year, we've changed the program to reflect the lessons that we learned from actually doing a production together. And the real focus was on creating something that would support you in and support the filmmaker in being able to finish the winning pitch film, and also unite all the funding and target our efforts so that what we're putting together is going to really support all of us coming together as a collective to support one another. And so we also wanted to provide opportunities for other collective members to, even if they aren't a member of the winning pitch, that they have opportunities to jump in on productions and to learn and to refine their pitching skills, their logline writing skills, their all of the things. So even if you're not a winner of the actual money, you still come away with something. And we wanted to increase the likelihood for films being completed. So as a collective member for the pitch program, we really wanted to benefit the members. And one of the ways that we've done this is, let's see, hold on. Like I said, focusing the effort and funding, making sure that the members have as many opportunities as possible, providing you with ways to improve your skills and to give you feedback throughout this whole process, and to leverage the events that we already have in support of new and emerging filmmakers. So I'll go over that a little bit more. But this is basically just some background as to how the program is structured and why it's done that way. All right, so a couple things. In order to pitch, you're going to need to have a couple of things ready to go. You're going to need to submit a logline, a treatment, and an artist bio. And a logline, for those of you who are in film, it's a single word or a single sentence that sums up your entire project. And it's so hard. I mean, everybody can do it. It's really, really good to practice at it, but it's like, you think it's going to be easy, but it seems like it's just really, really hard. And then a treatment is a one-pager. For short films, probably like maybe a paragraph to one page. And then your artist bio. So those three things would be needed to submit, to actually pitch. You'd also need to be able to define your role in the production. So are you writer-director? Are you producer? Are you actor? What you need to know in advance what you would do on the production. And then you'd also need to be a member. If you win, there's some production requirements. We'd like to target 50% HFC members for your cast and crew. We have quite a lot of members. So we're shooting for that as a target. We have 3 relevant meetings, as long as they're relevant to your production. So we have the producers table, the writers room, and the directors roundtable. And we'd like for the winning filmmaker to attend those 3 meetings, whichever is relevant to them. The funding structure, what did I mean by that? I can't even remember. Yeah, the funding is installments. So it's not a lump sum up front that you, or that you don't, or that you get at the tail end of having completed. And I'll go over that a little bit more. And then we also have a deadline for you, which is the final cut would be shown at the next pitch meeting. So it's a 4-month cycle. So you would need to be able to show your film within 4 months. All right, so here's how the funding works. There's 4 milestones that you would reach. The budget and the shooting draft, the production dates locked, shooting completed, and delivery of final cut. And you just talk to me and fill me in on how your production's going, and then we cut you a check for $250 for each step along the milestone. Let's see. Couple of other requirements that are needed. Like I said, you have to be a member. We have to provide us with a budget and receipts. There is a contract to sign, which we make freely available to you before you pitch, and I'll provide all that information to you ahead of time. Attending the meetings, and then once your production is underway, we ask for some behind the scenes footage so that we can help promote your film. All right, so how does it work? You come in, you do your pitch, and all of the winners are selected by the collective, so they're voted on. Each member gets a single vote. It's done based on an assessment that we provide to them, and I'm going to share that with you so you'll have that in advance. And we also give feedback on your pitch. So if you're learning how to pitch, you're going to get all this really useful feedback to say, like, oh, you could do this a little different. I really like this idea, but I wanted more information here. Since pitching is such an important part of the process. And finally, since this is, the winner is chosen by the members, everyone within the collective can pitch. So that means, just like in full transparency, even I could pitch if I wanted to. Or Mary or anyone can pitch, because it's selected by the membership. So I could blow it just as well, or win, or whatever. So as much as anyone. So when you're pitching, the people who are voting will be filling out this form, and your pitch will be evaluated based on really 2 metrics. One is, how developed is your idea? Is it just a sketch in your mind? Do you have a couple characters, or do you have a fully fleshed out script with a refined treatment and log line? They'll have a chance to rank it, and then also how producible they feel it is. And the first one's, kind of just an assessment based on how, someone's personal opinion. The producibility actually requires a little bit more structure to it. So we have this assessment sheet for our members to fill out, and you would do this too for the other pitchers that for the other pitches, is to get a sense of how likely is this film going to be done within 4 months. And so we don't give them numbers ranking, but sort of a green to red being the likelihood of this being produced within 4 months for $1,000 is virtually nothing, versus green, which is very few actors, it's a short script, very few locations. And so members are able to ask you some of these questions and say, how many principal actors you have? Oh, you have 45? Oh, we might not be able to do this for $1,000. So what you win is $1,000 in cash, approximately $1,000 in studio time, which equates to about 32 hours of studio time. And that doesn't include the meetings. That means, now it's a little bit weird because we're all in isolation, but if you wanted to conduct rehearsals, have meetings, you'd be free to use the HFC space for that. A bonus premiere, if you'd like us to host a premiere, we would do that for you. Plus, you gain the all of the support of the executive team and the collective members, various levels of experience, but also the energy and the support, which we wanted to put a price on that, but we couldn't. So we'll just, or maybe it's $100 million. But we'll just call it priceless for now. So the total award value is $2,500. You may have some questions about intellectual property. HFC asks to be listed as the executive producer. However, unless one of the HFC members, or not members, HFC executive team was selected as like a director or a DP, then no creative decisions will be made by HFC. We stay out of it completely. And we have no financial ownership, although if you take this and make it big, you could always toss a donation back from, that's right. But we have no financial ownership over it. And all of this is spelled out in the contract. So let's see, you think, oh my God, all this effort to pitch, and what if I don't win? Well, it's all right. I think that it's really, really useful, even just to get practice pitching. And also, while you're in the pitch meeting, you're going to learn who won and what their project is about. And you might have opportunities to come on and do a role you've never done before, or deepen your understanding of a role you're familiar with. The feedback from the collective was really well received, I believe, in our last pitch. And also just becoming part of the community, which is really fun and welcoming, and just a great group to be around. So I will post the link in the chat. I have a Google folder that I can make available to you that has the contract, it has the guidelines and rules, the frequently asked questions, all of the stuff that is given as to our members as assessments, so that you'll know how you're being evaluated. You don't have to absorb all of this. And the this presentation is also in there. So if you have an idea and you're ready to pitch it, we're super excited to have you come. The things that you need to mark down is there is a link that we will send. It's on the website. I think we're going to send it out in an email before the end of the week. It's a Google form that is basically, you're going to register your pitch. So you'd submit your log line, your treatment, and your bio by January 30th at noon. And then after that, it's just time to pitch. And the pitch goes that you have 3 minutes to pitch. We have 3 minutes of Q&A. And then we have 2 minutes for people to fill out their evaluation forms, not 3 minutes. So it's about 10 minutes for the whole entire thing. Then, I think that's it for my, Then, while we're in the pitch meeting, we actually have you go to a waiting room and the collective discusses it. They may come up with some additional follow-up questions for you. You all come back in the room. We vote on Zoom. There's a form to vote on Zoom. We get our results immediately, and then we're off and running with the winning pitch. So that is the, let's see, that is the presentation. Now we can open it up for discussion and questions. Did Mary and Alex and Tom, did I miss anything?
No, I'm excited to hear what the Q&A brings up. So
yeah,
pretty good.
I know Oleg dropped a question in the chat. He said, how strict is this 4-month rule? What if the production takes a little bit longer, like 5 months? months?
Well, typically what would happen is we would hold out on your final installment of the final installment of the money comes on the day in which you basically submit your short. So you'd be waiting for that final installment.
But it's still possible to pitch and to get money, because I'm planning to pitch, but I have an actress who is not in Hawaii, and she'll be coming in late March. So that's why. So like it's like planned. It's not that that it's not according to plan. It's just there is a specific time of shooting that is a little bit closer to the end of March.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can pitch, and I would be forthcoming about that in your pitch.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Morgan, if you don't mind me jumping in, I'd say just general rule of thumb would be don't pitch a project you don't think you can finish in 4 months. Our goal, like with everything in HFC, is to make more films. And so come in as the person pitching with the idea that I'm going to be able to finish this in 4 months, and here's why. And part of that, I mean, the last installment gets held out, but so does the chance to show your film at the end. So if you finish within 4 months, you can actually screen a film, I think 2 weeks after the next pitch session, and kind of show off to everybody, like, here's what we accomplished together. And if you don't finish in that allotted time, you also miss out on that opportunity. So come in trying to pitch something that you think you can finish in 4 months.
Thank you, Alex. That's a good clarification.
I have a question, Morgan.
Yeah.
As far as like pitching a documentary, how does that look? Is that a little different, or?
Well, actually, a documentary was our last pitch winner. So
okay.
The only real difference is that we adapted the like the producer's table and the writer's room and directing the actor. Well, directing the actor, I don't think we helped, but we just adapted those events so that we were supporting the filmmaker, because they're kind of designed for narrative. That was really the only main difference. Everything else is, yeah.
And I think I also, I think Mohala, you live here on Big Island too. Yeah, I remember you from the Creative Lab session. I was just also wondering, like, because obviously we're in a pandemic and we live on another island. I wonder what that support looks like cross island if one of us were to be a pitch winner.
Well, it happens that our previous pitch winner was a documentary on the Big Island, and there's just yeah, it's not even a thing. Yeah, we're all remote. We're all on other islands right now.
Thanks, Morgan.
Yeah. Good questions. Thank you. Yeah. Mahala.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? My question is, I went blank. I forgot my question already. What's required in the 3 minutes of the pitch? Is there anything required, or is the pitch geared towards, am I trying to convince you guys that I can get this product out there in 4 months, or am I just trying to sell my product?
I think it's a bit of a combination of both things. So we have what we're giving to our members to evaluate is how developed is this creative idea, and how producible is it? So it's really those two things.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So you can look at the evaluation and kind of tailor your pitch a little bit to addressing some of the questions that might come up in this. You definitely, I mean, I definitely would not ignore the creative element of what your project is, because that's the heart and soul of it, right? And that's what people is really going to capture people. But I wouldn't ignore completely the producibility side, because that's the side that tells us whether this is doable or not.
I have a question.
Yes.
My question is, do people usually come in with their own crew or equipment? And do people within HFC membership have their own equipment and are willing to assist? Or how does that usually work?
Well, we're asking the winning filmmakers to, you know, do 50% HFC cast and crew. So that's across the whole production. The rest being anyone that you would like to bring in. Of course, somebody could always become a member if they wanted to. A lot of people do have gear, but it's really on a case-by-case basis, whether in terms of like asking around, networking, finding the people, you know, word of mouth, like, oh, so such and such person, you know, has sound equipment, you know, making friends. So there's not a whole lot of, there's not much at HFC, there's not a lot of top-down structure in terms of like, we're gonna take this and do this for you. It's really very bottom up, where the structure is there for people to come in and really network and get connected. But it's really up to the filmmaker to make it happen. Thank you. Good question.
Thanks.
Can I elaborate on that just a little bit? For those of you who are members, you might have checked out our member website on Wild Apricot. And we do have a member directory, and every member can set up their own profile there. And a lot of them have listed experience that they have, equipment that they have. So you're very welcome, you know, especially now that we can't really meet in person so much. It's a great resource to go and look for people that might help you out. And there's also a way to connect with anyone individually, you know, email them. Or there's also a public blog where you can just post. You say, you know, I'm still looking for a DP, or I'm looking for actors. And we're definitely trying, and that's why we put that, you know, the goal of 50% community participation in every project. That's really one of our main goals, is to connect each other and create teams, people that work together and support each other. So, you know, I love it that you would want to look for team members that bring equipment or support your project. That's really in the idea of what we're trying to do. And we have right now, I think, around 120 members. Some are more active than others, but it really runs, you know, the gamut from actors to producers to sound, DP. You can pretty much find anything, you know, it just depends. Are the people available? Are they excited about your project? You know, so when you pitch, it's you know, it's a good part, and it came up earlier, is to get people excited about your project. You know, don't just tell them how you're going to make it, but why is it important? Why is it going to be great? You know, it is a little bit of a sales pitch. So like, just like you would pitch to producers, you know, in Hollywood, why are they going to go behind your film and support you? So, but definitely we encourage the collaboration of the team, and we'll help as much as we can. You know, if you're looking for team members, we'll post it for you. We'll spread the word. You know, we can't promise that people will be available, but we'll try.
So a pitch deck isn't required to pitch, but in our last pitch meeting, we had 3 pitchers and all 3 did have pitch decks. So it might be something if you're considering pitching, it might be something that you consider doing, so that you show up and, you know, feel, you know, confident with what you are bringing. I'm going to throw the link to the Google Drive with some of the documents in the chat. So you can open that up and you can see that it's a read-only file. So you can go in and check out the facts and the assessment forms and all the things that.
I want to jump in here and say part of the goal of sort of the restructuring of the pitch program, for those of you who have been with us for a while, this is now the second time it's sort of under the new umbrella. And the goal really is to have everyone's film that is pitched to get made. It's just the membership votes on the one that's going to get the funding, right? Already I don't want to say the competition, but the quality of the pitches have improved. People are more involved as the membership, despite the fact that we're remote. We're in touch with Allison, the current pitch winner, and people are excited about her project. And Kelsey, I think, has worked on a music video or got pretty close to finishing the music video, as well as the pitch winning documentary. So you're a part of a wave of filmmakers that are going to start making each other's films to kind of bounce off Jennifer's questions. So that is sort of our collective mindset in the team.
That's really, that's good. Yeah, just because you don't win the funding doesn't mean you don't have all the other benefits and all the things that support to help you finish your film.
And now's the best time more than any to ask questions. So feel free to be a little bit more rambunctious if you want.
I know. Liven it up a little bit with some music. Should we take a 5-minute break and have a quick, oh, no, Will Wild, he's gonna go for it.
Were we gonna get that Google? I
dropped it in the chat.
It's in the chat, that is that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not the survey. I'm sorry, I keep opening up the survey.
There's a lot of links. It should be, oh.
Not in the chat.
Yeah, it's the one that says googledrive.com/drive/u.
Maybe it's not to everyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's in the waiting room.
See it, yeah.
Darn it, I sent it to the waiting room, which there's nobody there. There.
Ah, voila.
So I'll ask another question.
Great.
So I know Allison Week won the last pitch session, and I know she's working on it with her co-producer on that feature. And one of the requirements is to have 50%, obviously, HFC member support. So does that her co-producer count? Is that like other 50% because it's them too, or? Yeah, Roger.
Regardless, we're excited to have HFC representation on Big Island. So we'll work with our Big Islanders.
Nice. Yeah, Mohala, I'm here for you. Just so you know, we're together in this, huh?
And yeah, maybe just about the 50% rule. It's not, you're not going to get disqualified because you didn't get 50% HFC members. It's just something we're striving for. We want to connect the HFC members and encourage them to work together. So as we're trying to build a community.
Well, did you have something? Oh, you're muted.
I was gonna say, I'm on the Big Island quite a bit. So I'm on the Big Island and I'm happy to be there anytime.
All right, Will. Nice to meet you, Will.
I hate to ask this question, but like, can I see a little show of hands? Like, how many people are? I mean, I assume because you're here, you're interested in pitching, but like, Well, you know what? I'm not going to ask that question. I'll wait. I'll wait to
Ask
find
it.
out until the 30.
Ask
I'm just
it,
going to see, like,
Morgan.
see who's planning on pitching.
Who's planning on pitching? Mary, Oleg.
Woo!
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
Hello.
lively one.
Nice.
Yay!
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's exciting.
What
Cool.
about Clarissa? Come on, throw it in there, Clarissa.
Maybe in the future, not right now though.
Well, feel free to email me with questions or anything as we're leading up to the meeting. I'm happy to answer questions. Here, I'll type my.
Go for it, Will.
I was, and you probably said this, and it's probably in the forms. As far as the board or the committee that votes, is that everybody or who votes?
It's everyone that's attending the pitch meeting on the 31st will vote, including yourself.
Okay, so even if I'm not necessarily pitching, I can still.
You're still gonna vote.
And
yeah.
Cool. And then can we give each other feedback? Like, say somebody didn't get it, saw some blaring thing, like, oh, if you just had that scene with Pikachu that was totally random, maybe, or something. I'm always open to advice.
Yeah. So Oleg and Kelsey were actually a part of the last pitch, and they received feedback. Well, Kelsey not specifically, but she's working with the music video. So Oleg can probably speak about receiving that more, but every single pitch receives feedback from everybody.
Cool.
And the goal being, again, what I said earlier, is increasing the quality, right? Like, we hope that you're going to be a better pitcher every single time, right?
Yes.
And that it's a skill that you take. It's not just useful here. Like it's you take it out. You might go pitch somebody, bigger, and so that feedback helps you on your path.
Absolutely.
I had a question. You mentioned like having a pitch deck along with the long line artist bio and things. Is that kind of like a PowerPoint presentation, or is it like, do you want video, or is it just all oral?
It's like a PowerPoint, usually about 10 slides. And a lot of times they have kind of specific categories, although with a short film it might be a little bit reduced. But I'm sure we can dig up a resource on putting together a pitch deck, but yeah, it's a PowerPoint.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mahala.
You guys are getting me all excited. Let's do this right now. Let's get it on.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Go get your gear. Meet you outside.
Alex, did you want to touch on the writer's room pre the pitch session a little bit?
Yeah, totally. We're going to have a writer's room next Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. You can sign up on hifilmmakers.org under the events tab. And normally our writer's rooms is basically come like present a script and get feedback on it. In the session before each pitch group, we normally take some time to like practice pitching and go over pitching. If anybody wants to come and just give like a practice pitch for what they plan to do Sunday and get sort of like soft feedback from a smaller group first, that's a great space to do that. So 6 to 8 p.m. next Thursday, you can sign up on the website.
Awesome.
Also, I wanted to put out there, if anybody wanted to do like a smaller little, like small kind pitch group totally in, I put my email there so we could like get together and also pitch together like film nerds.
That's a great idea.
That's so cute.
Nailed it, Morgan.
All right, I gotta
Session
start leaving more room for questions.
in the can.
Well, if for any reason you want to reach out to me, please do. I'd be happy to just talk with you about pitch or whatever else. It's really great to see all your faces. It feels like we slowed down a little bit for the holidays and we're starting to ramp back up. And I'm excited about it and excited to see what everybody's projects are. I can't wait to hear what's coming out of your brains in a couple weeks. So, yeah.
Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate you.
Sure. Okay, well, I guess that's it, unless Tom, did you have anything, or Mary or Alex?
Thank you, Morgan. Great job.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, great.
Morgan, thank you, Morgan.
I can't wait.
Thank you for your
All righty.
time.
We'll
Yeah.
see you soon. Bye-bye.
Great job.
Well,